All right, Mercury and Leo. Now, these people are powerful speakers. They don't like to, always speak, but they do. When they do speak, people usually heed calls to what they have to say. They like to bring light to situations too. You know, where other people might not see something, or they might be like, this place ain't, the most fun. It ain't my kind of fun. I'll find somewhere else because I can see where I want to go. Because, that's my type of fun. These people like a certain type of entertainment, too. They don't seek just any type of thing. They like to, have fun in a certain type of way. They might like these type of cartoons instead of these type of cartoons. That type of thing. Whereas the Green Angel, I like anime, right? And then I do know about other stuff. These people like to specifically focus on one type of thing. And every once in a while, they'll, go out and try new things. But typically, because it's fixed fire, these people like something, specific. And then they keep, the fun going for themselves. They'll surround themselves by people who, like that, and they're always around people who can feed into their ideas of how to make things fun. So, they'll make sure they have people around them that like to be around them, and they'll try to, pull all kind of people into, their fun world, all kind of people, because they like to kind of, because this is another person who's creative, but it's more apparent with these people. They'll pull people in and they'll be like, I'm doing this, come here and be my friend. I have these people already who want to, do this. I'm pretty sure that you want to be here too, and it is going to be fun. I've already let people know about it through, means of getting it out there, however. And now you just have to, heed calls to it and be a part of it too. And they will pull people in. Even people who even other people who ain't focused on their shit have to even acknowledge it sometimes. Well, damn, that person is, doing that. They're over there, fucking around with that stuff. They like to run around and, entertain people that way. They ain't doing what I'm doing, but they're, and even as a Green Angel, I'll be like, okay, that influencer over there does that, and they're a person who attracts people to them. They have a powerful voice. Remember, I told you that. They see potential in people is what they do, and if they don't see you as entertaining, they'll be like, they just won't talk about you. They may, try to get you to, come see what they have going on, but they won't want to keep you around too long if it's gonna fuck with what they have going on, in any big way. You come, if they invite you to the party and then you go to the party and you're you might shut their shit down. You might make shit boring. They don't want that. They want a fun party for everybody who comes around. And then the friend group they keep around people who are loyal to them and see shit their way, and it has to be their way or not. If it ain't that way, then, they don't want you around, and it's typically for the one who has, Leo in the sun sign and Leo in the, Mercury sign. But the other people can be like that too. The people who are born under Virgo and Cancer who have it there too. Mercury sign and Leo. They're kind of, if they are Virgo and they have Mercury and Leo, they're kind of like me, except they're more, detailed about who they keep around. They'll be a little more smarter about it. They'll be like, I definitely don't want, this person around because I know already that this person's going to do this. I'll make sure I have these people around, and I'll do everything, to make it, fun for these people, and make it fun for me too, because I keep people around who want to be around me. You know, and then the one who has like a Cancer sun sign and a Leo Mercury sign, you know, they may, you know, sound, you know, standoffish at times, or, you know, they can really like play games with like how you feel. You know, they can be really loud and seem angry, but maybe they ain't even like that. You know, this is a very, you know, emotional person, but also a person that, you know, sees potential in people, but also sees what's going on underneath. And that's if they have the Cancer sun sign and the Mercury and Leo. But the key here is that they're, you know, kind of self-centered in how they see things, but like it's not a negative thing. You know, they seek a certain type of fun, and they seek a certain type of, they have a certain vision for themselves, and they want to put things into play certain ways so that the best kind of fun moments can happen, or fun experiences can happen, you know, and they need things a certain way. You know, if it ain't that way, they'll kind of be upset about it. You know, hence the fixed fire and the Mercury sign. You know, and then they'll let you know that too. You know, and like you'll know how they're feeling too, because it's an extroverted placement in the Mercury sign. You know, and you can hear these people too. Powerful voice too. But that is Leo and Mercury for you. Try to be cool, calm. Probably not though. You'll probably get hot about some things sometimes.